right, football is awesome. This weekend was especially awesome. I'm here to report from Mikey B for our second to last power rankings soiree of the season. Mikey, first off, congratulations, number one.
Thank you.
Your Bengals are. What year are we in? 1988 or 2022? Because I'm confused here right now.
I'm okay with either one.
Yeah, first time in 34 years in the AFC title game.
First playoff victory in 31 years. First ever road playoff win and a date with the AFC title game. So everything's coming up green right now.
Look, dude, the Bengals have redefined the term house money right now.
I don't know if I said it on the show last week or if I said it to you guys privately via text message, but I said all week to anyone that knows me that I wanted Derrick Henry to play because I wanted them to throw off any kind of chemistry that Foreman and those guys have had the last 7 weeks. Because, and to be honest with you, Foreman looked like he was running pissed off, and I'm just glad they kept making the decision to keep giving the ball to Derrick Henry. Foreman busts off that 45-yard run, and then Tannehill throws some stupid screen pass that Mike Hilton made a great play on. I've said it to you in the first round. I said it to you.
You said it, by the way. You did say the thing you said about the Henry and on the running back. You did say on the show last week. Yes, you did.
And I said it before the game against the Raiders. If we can win the turnover battle, I think it gives us an edge. And yes, Joe didn't look great. Jamar played his ass off. Mixon got bottled up there for a while. But the Bengals converted on the turnovers. They got points off of 2 out of the 3 Tannehill interceptions. We held on. Money Mac kicks us to the AFC title game. And I'm not going to lie to you, to have a kid in his rookie year have that much confidence in himself to walk out on the field at Nissan Stadium, take a practice shot, look right at the holder and go, well, looks like we're going to the AFC title game.
That's hysterical.
I'll take that much confidence out of a kicker any day of the week and twice on Sunday because if anything proved factual in this round alone, the teams with the best kickers are still alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Butker, Gould, Matt Gay. I think the best kickers that were left in the playoffs are the teams that are left in the playoffs. And that's even with normally automatic Harrison Butker missing a field goal in that game against Buffalo last night. But yeah, great weekend. Excited to talk about what's coming up for the conference title games.
Yeah, by the way, the Chiefs kicker Butker doesn't get enough credit for tying that game, actually. I mean, I know obviously Mahomes put him in position, but he missed that kick. It's awful not. I mean, and he did miss a kick early in the game, too, on top of that, and a PAT. So good job by him to take care of business. All right, so what we'll do, we'll go through it. We've been doing through the playoffs. We ranked remaining teams in there. Last week was 8. This week we're now facing potential weekends. There's only 4 teams going to be ranking here. So this should be fairly easy, but we'll talk about it a little bit. Number 4. What do you got, Michael?
I still think they're the worst offense left in the playoffs. I don't know that they have enough firepower to keep up with the LA Rams. I will take the San Francisco 49ers.
I do as well. I did say come to the playoffs. This is the matchup that Green Bay is going to probably appear probably the most. What I didn't account for was the way they won this game. That was a whole nother can of worms there.
By Aaron Rodgers just being awful?
Yeah. I mean, he didn't lose him the game, but he sure as hell didn't win it for him. I'll say that.
No.
And I kept telling my buddy Kyle, who's a Niners fan, and he was like, this game's over anyway, even though it's 7-0. I'm like, dude, it's only 7-0. Like, when a game is this close still, you have to weigh in all the anomalies. San Fran can still dedicate to the run because it's close.
Once the snow started to fall, it became more of a San Francisco because of the running game.
Right.
If that snow holds off, I don't know that is as effective because I think Rodgers still could have thrown the ball, and I think they would have found the end zone at least one more time with cold but not snowy conditions. But once that snow started to fall, San Francisco could really lean on the run game, and the run game has been effective for them basically all year because you're not getting anything out of Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
174 yards in the first game, 145 or 148 in this game. I'm sorry. They're not winning throwing for 148 yards against Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
No question. I totally agree with you on that one. I guess we could touch on Green Bay a little bit here.
Sure.
Team. What's next for Aaron Rodgers? What's next in your opinion?
Wherever Devontae goes, he goes.
So I saw a number over the weekend. I don't know if you saw this yet. Right now, as we sit here doing this podcast, the Packers are minus 44 million, plus 44 million, or minus 44 million.
They're negative 44 million.
Right. Whew. They got work to do.
There's a couple guys that were playing defense on that team that won't have jobs coming back next year.
Yep.
Or there will be a lot of guys restructuring contracts to give this one final run.
Because Aaron Rodgers has been transparent about this. He ain't here for rebuild. I can't blame him.
No. And honestly, a guy that could save him some money is trading Aaron Jones and going full time to A.J. Dillon. They can move Aaron Jones. They can move maybe a Marquez Valdez-Scantling and go with Devontae and Lazard next year. They're going to have to figure out the offensive line because Bakhtiari didn't play basically all year for them, and he's a guy who's eating up a ton of money for them. Right. Unless they get one of those courtesy retirements of a guy who's got a shit ton of money left, there's either going to be guys that are going to be free, going to be released, or there's going to be guys that are going to have to restructure their deal to keep the core together for one final run in 23.
Yeah. Back to the Niners, though, like I said, there's no way they could. I mean, as impressive the wins that was in terms of the special teams and defense playing well, there was no way. I know they've beaten the Rams, 6 straight times, 7 straight times, what the hell it was, the number? No way in hell that they can win this week.
Okay, what's the old saying? It's hard to beat a team twice. It's impossible to beat them 3 times.
Yeah. Can be done, but I don't see it happening.
We'll get to our formal predictions at the end.
Right. All right. Okay. So let's go to number 3. Number 3 on the list. We got
AFC North champion, first time in franchise history winning a road playoff game. Give me Joe Exotic and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Of course, I'm there as well. Number 3, Joe Montana Burrow, my new name for him.
Or as the kids are calling him, Joe Burr.
So every time, I was doing a poker commentary at work during the game, but I had the game on, and so I was able to watch. But every time I turn around, he's on his ass. Literally, every time I turn around, he's on his ass. So I tweeted after the game, just imagine this team with an offensive line. Holy crap. Imagine that concept.
Go trade for Bakhtiari right now from Green Bay. Put him on the offensive line for the next 2 weeks.
But, yeah.
Most sacks of a quarterback in a win in a playoff game in NFL history. Only the quarterback to get sacked more than 8 times and win was Donovan McNabb.
Okay, yeah.
So, new record, Joe Exotic. Not the record that we want, though. Kudos to the Titans. They did really, really, really good at keeping Jamar Chase in check. He caught a couple of bubble screens and broke him out with his speed.
Mm-hmm.
But kudos to Tennessee for keeping those guys in check for as long as they could. Big game by T. Higgins. Knowing they were going to double team Jamar, he had to be big, and he was today, or he was on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it was. I'm still living off the fucking energy from that game. But yeah, that defense on Saturday night with Trey and Sam Hubbard, and knowing that we had to pick up the slack for Larry Ogunjobi, they did not bend with King Henry running it down their throat. 20 carries for 60 yards. He averaged 3 yards a carry. Everyone was coming into this game thinking he was going to run for 20 times for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, and we were going to get the doors blown off of us. Well, surprise, surprise. Sometimes having the best running back in football doesn't matter if the defense that's playing in front of him can stop him.
Do you think that's more about Henry not being fully healthy, or do you think the defense has stepped up? What do you think?
Both.
Do you think Henry's a little tentative a little bit out there? A bit?
I think, especially those first couple drives, you could see he was kind of timid trying to hit the hole, which is not a Derrick Henry move. As the game progressed, it felt like he started to become more comfortable, and he was trying to hit the hole. But at that point, the Bengals were pinching the gaps. They were bringing in the linebackers, and most of the time when it's 6-on-5, you're going to get a free hit on either the quarterback or the running back. And Derrick Henry in years past has been very good of running out of arm tackles.
Right.
He was not on Saturday. Trey got him a couple times. Sam Hubbard got him a couple times. Even Mike Hilton on the outside got him once or twice, where it looks like he was trying to load up for one of those King Henry stiff arms, and Hilton just dives underneath, tackles his feet, and just holds onto his feet for dear life, which are tackles that Derrick Henry normally breaks out of, and he didn't. And I think that's a major benefactor for the Bengals offense and defense, because a lot of people believe that this was going to be run, and they forced Tannehill to throw at times. And when you force him, he is prone to making the mistakes that he made. Also, the 2 of the 3 interceptions being tipped or deflected, unfortunate luck for Tannehill. I think that a lot of things could have went a different way. The only interception I really blame on him is the Mike Hilton one, because Mike Hilton is blitzing. You're staring right at him. Like, why are you trying to throw it at his helmet?
Right.
Other than that, like I said, kudos to Tennessee for keeping the Cincinnati offense in check for as long as they did. I just, when you look at this team right now, we've said it for the last couple weeks. It's house money. A 5-win projection team to 60 minutes away from playing in a Super Bowl. I can't ask for anything more from this team. So, Mac, if it gets into a kicking competition, at least I trust the guy that I have wearing black and orange as much as I would trust the guy wearing red and yellow.
Right. Okay, number 2. This is I think we'll probably have some difference here. Number 2, what you got?
The Bengals opponent in the AFC title game. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs.
What a game, huh? That should be pushing the moment here, but I've watched a lot of football through my lifetime. I don't think I've seen a game like that.
The only one that compares to it is the Rams Chiefs game from Monday Night Football from like 2 years ago.
But the stakes are different. That was
like 52 to 54 or whatever it was.
This is the playoff game to go to the AFC title game. That's the
well. Let's dissect this real quick, and it really should be the Buffalo Bills. I'm not even going to sit here. I don't know what the hell they were doing on that last drive with 13 seconds left, where they're playing prevent defense and let Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce each run for like 35 yards. Put a linebacker somewhere in the middle of the field and make them throw the ball 3 or 4 times. Don't let them throw 2 passes, get in field goal range, kick field goal. That was piss poor defensive management, and if that guy still has a job come next week, I'd be very surprised. Other than that, though, that was 2 heavyweight title. Like, that's Tyson versus Holyfield standing in the middle of the ring and just swinging, and one of them is eventually going to fall. And
what would be the wrestling equivalent of that? Hogan Warrior?
Austin Rock.
Austin Rock? Okay.
I would say Austin Rock standing in the middle of the ring, going toe-to-toe and just swinging at each other. And then, whichever one of them standing is going to have to face Triple H, which is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I like that.
Because Triple H was still a, quote, young up-and-comer whenever the end of the Rock Austin stuff was going on.
Right.
So then it transitioned to Hunter and all that. So I think that's like the equivalent here.
I like that.
Stone Cold goes from, facing the Rock. Now he's going to have to face Triple H in the AFC title game. And it's like, I'm just dumb enough and young enough to not give a fuck.
Yeah.
But no, I think the question marks that I have now for the Chiefs, there was no run game for them.
No.
0 run game. And their defense was just getting eaten to death. The only saving grace they have is 87-10 being as good as they are for Patrick Mahomes. Without the 2 of those guys, they probably lose this game by 20.
But anything else, I think I don't know if I tweeted to you yesterday or I was supposed to this during the game on text. I've always said for years, you know how good a team is coached by how many timeouts they have in each half.
Correct.
And Bill Belichick's the king of that. Bill Belichick always has timeouts in the halves.
Yes.
That's go. Andy Reid, great coach also too. Had all 3 timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds to go. Because you want to keep those timeouts for situations like these.
Correct.
And if they don't have timeouts, they don't win. They're not even in a position to win this game.
Correct.
So, the same. Coaches, Micromanaging, not good sometimes. The same.
The only time that I like, first half doesn't bother me as much as second half.
Right. Oh, I agree. Yeah.
So, the oh shit, we didn't get to play in fast enough. Now we have to call a timeout to avoid delay a game. That's frustrating. That's incredibly frustrating, especially in the second half when you may need that timeout later down the road. I'd almost take the 5-yard penalty and make it 3rd and 15 and just get a play call in that works. The question here that I have for Kansas City is with lack of a run game and with lack of a defense. These two teams have already played each other once this year, and Joe Burrow had a pretty damn good game.
Yes, he did.
The
difference now is this location is different now. Big difference.
It is, but at the end of the day, if you're a Bengal, if you're a Cincinnati Bengal, you could play this game on the fucking moon.
Yeah.
You've played this team. You know what they're going to do. You've seen this. It's not like it's anything new. It's not like it's anything unexpected.
It's recent.
And that game cost the Chiefs the first round bye, by the way.
Yeah. Although, right.
And if you look at the comparison of these two quarterbacks in that game, Mahomes went 26 of 35 for 259 and 2 scores. Tiger King went 30 of 39 for 446 and 4 touchdowns, 3 of them to Jamar Chase. So, if you're the Chiefs, obviously you're double teaming Jamar Chase. So now it's going to be CJ Uzomah, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, versus the 2-3 and the safety linebacker of the Kansas City Chiefs. And to be honest with you, I watched Gabriel Davis run slot plays all night last night and get open for 4 touchdowns.
You know how Tyron Mathieu is able to play this game on fucking Sunday, because it's like when the minute he got knocked out of the game, that thing is
the whole middle of the field opened.
Yep.
Right?
Concussion yet?
I don't know if he's cleared concussion protocol yet or not.
Well, we'll see.
If he doesn't, that line that Vegas put out is going to swing heavy.
It's 7 right now. It went to 7.5, I think, after.
If Tyrann Mathieu gets ruled out by Thursday, that line will be like 5.
It could. I can see that. 2 for me is the Rams. And I literally was doing my rankings, during the Rams game. I'm like, I might put them number 1 this week, regardless of the Chiefs win this game against the Bills. And then what happened at the end of the game, or almost happened in the game, a little scary there at the end for the Rams. They figured it out. Obviously, Stafford, big plays, big balls, as you said on a text. And obviously, I picked the Rams to beat Tampa for the big reason that, the O-line's banged out. Wirth didn't play the game as we all were questioning all week long. And, Brady, they got to Brady early and, Von Miller and Aaron Donald. But that fourth quarter was scary for the Rams. I mean, Tom Brady is a boogeyman. He is.
I think you also have to realize that Sean McVay went into a little bit of piss poor game management. The fumble to give them the ball back. That's just unfortunate luck that Cam Akers dropped that ball.
Right.
But before that, very, very, very oh my God, I don't want to do much. I just want to. That Rams offense is built to just score. And I think if Sean McVay runs his normal offense,
it'll be okay.
I don't think Tampa gets that ball back. He just tried to get too cute to run the clock out to hope that Brady wouldn't get the ball enough. But yeah, that was just questionable decision making on his part. And that's something that you have to take into account going into a title game. Kyle Shanahan versus Sean McVay. But before anything else, and you said it in the chat, and this is I will not take anybody slandering the name of Matthew Stafford anymore. Because the guy's been a fucking hell of a quarterback. He was good in Detroit with nothing, and he's great with the guys that he has now. So anyone that wants to slander the great name that is Matthew Stafford, you guys can go fuck yourself. Straight up, because that guy just had balls of steel. There's no other quarterback right now that you're like, damn, Tom Brady just scored. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to fucking crumble. We're going to go to overtime. We're probably going to lose. Here's Cooper Kupp. Big dick energy.
Yeah, because honestly, if they don't get aggressive late in that game, they probably lose that game.
Correct.
So
they lose that game, and that game goes to overtime. Hands down.
And I'm not going to ball back to Brady. Out of your fucking mind? No. 1 for you, obviously. So number 1 for you.
We talked about it. I have timeouts. I'm going to get my team in position. I'm going to go for the win. And fucking, they sent a corner blitz. And how do you not have more than one guy on Cooper Kupp with like 25 seconds left?
Yeah, I agree.
I understand blitzing the corners, but like, you have a safety that's going to pick him up. You better put that other safety somewhere in the middle, because at the end of the day, there's no way you should be letting the guy that is Matthew Stafford's security blanket just run down the middle of the field open twice. Right.
So obviously,
at the end of the day, when you look at this, anybody that, again, this is a Matthew Stafford, no slander. Anybody that's legitimately thinking that Cooper Kupp isn't the best wide receiver in football right now, you're out of your goddamn mind. And this is coming from a guy who's got Jamar Chase as his number one.
Right. So obviously, number one is your Rams, right? One for me, the Chiefs. But I feel like it's, in my case anyway, it's almost a 1A, 1B situation coming out this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no problem with it being.
Because honestly, if the Rams don't blow that lead in the fourth quarter, they're number one for me right now.
They're number one. They're number one with a runaway if that score holds before the start of the fourth.
Exactly.
Not even close.
All right, let you go, because I got 2 minutes. I have to go pick up my car. Okay. Predictions this weekend. This first in AFC title game. Chiefs and Bengals, go.
That's a stupid question.
I mean, who thinks going to win? Feeling logic. Okay, I'm a
Who Dey? Okay. I haven't turned my back on them yet. I'm not starting now. Who Dey?
Hey, it's working right now. It's working just for, right? Come on now. And finally, NFC title game. Niners and Rams, go.
They've been in the top 4 of my power rankings pretty much all year. I'm not turning my back on Big Dick Stafford now. Let's go. Rams, Bengals, Super Bowl.
All right, follow Mike on Twitter. They call me Burn. Of course, this Thursday we do our Royal Rumble preview. Ooh. I'm watching your house this week, so.
Excellent.
I already told the boss I can't work this week because of it. So.
Good, I told him too. So we'll see who he gets on.
Anyway, we'll talk soon.
All right, buddy.
Good luck to the Bengals this week. All right.
Who Dey?
All right, Dey. Later.
Later.
Frisk.
I like it.
Frisk. You like it because it sounds sort of like frisky. I know why you like it.
It is frisky. And now we are Football's Awesome Studio Game Report with the man, Kyle F. Nash. Hello.
The hell is going on, EJ Christian? Man, listen, I'll tell you, I'm sure glad we got raked over the coals by all those Titans fans, man. Wow. They showed us the light that this team is really Super Bowl capable. And I'll tell you what, EJ, what they did to the Bengals was really a thing of beauty. I mean, what quality football is when you have a balanced attack like the Titans do, and then they outplayed themselves on defense. It was fantastic. What?
Exactly.
He did what? In that case, suck it, Titans fans. Thank you. No, and listen, I picked the Titans to win because I thought they were a more balanced team, and on paper they were. That's the problem with picking games on Tuesdays, Ernest Christian. You find things out later. Like, for one, yeah, he was cleared and he practiced in contact. He participated in full contact practice. But Derrick Henry, I come to find out, takes the field with, 5 or 6 screws, a plate in his foot, and a plate in his cleat as well. If I had known all that, I would have picked different.
Did he look timid to you, though?
Timid, no. Slower, yes.
Okay.
Derrick Henry don't ever look in MF and timid.
I'm not saying injury, like he was trying to be very careful.
FOH. He even tried to stiff arm a dude. It just didn't work.
He's still a scary dude, though. I don't give a shit. He's like the man he is. He's still a scary dude.
But if you're moving slowly, listen, eventually you're going to get swarmed. I mean, that's why running backs have to have speed is so the defense has to work to get to you, right?
Overall, I've asked people on the podcast this, throughout this episode, it's easy to get wrapped in hyperbole and spur of the moment and in the moment, and last thing you saw is the best thing you ever saw. But I'm really having a hard time 2 days later finding a more exciting and better weekend of football than this one we just went through the original weekend.
I would still put, first of all, I think there's a whole lot of victim of the moment stuff going on here.
Sure. I agree.
But I really liked week 18 a lot better. But I mean, let's call it what it is. You have a higher or lower success rate and chance when you have only 4 games on the week, and you're guaranteed to have top-ranked teams, and you've managed to weed out teams that don't belong, right? Mm-hmm. So, should this be the best football you see other than possibly the conference championship game? Yes. Since we're at the point in the NFL where both conferences are to some extent top heavy, obviously much less the AFC, right? Because at the end of the day, most of the better quarterback plays in the AFC, right? That situation where you're going to have a bunch of games that go well and are close to watch, going to happen. And I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's not like the Bengals and Titans was a high flying, romp circus craziness, but and a couple other things for perspective. The Niner-Packer game was not exciting, but there was a lot of quality trench warfare in it. You have to enjoy that. And then after that, what's that? I did. Yeah, 100%.
Trenches.
I honestly hated the ending of the 49er game. That's not how I want games like that to end. But at the end of the day, of course, I'm going to take it, as would any member of the 49er faithful. But Sunday's games, let's keep the Rams in perspective.
You just sound like Obama right there. Barack Obama. You got faithful?
I faithful, the 49er faithful, and folks.
And McConnell, this dang it.
We have to keep things realistic here, Ernest Christian. I by the way, I appreciate your service.
Yeah.
With Homeland Security. You've done a great job.
Anyway, I gave the pause.
I'm glad to see you're no longer squatting there in the van. And I want you to get the bell ready because I'm going to talk about the Huddle Up podcast.
Yes. 9:00.
Dude, the ex-president just asked for the bell. Where the hell is it?
Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm slacking the Empire.
I would ask, what the hell is wrong with you? But let's keep things in also realistic perspective too. The reason why you had the electric game that you did with Tampa and the Rams and the Bucks, is because the Rams did everything they could to hand that game back. Oh, but the Bucks defense? No. Those fumbles, all of those, were just right stupidity. Right. Oh, there you finally found it. And we'll talk plenty about Bills and Chiefs, so I'll leave it at that.
Well, yeah. So let's get to what we've been doing. We did the midterms. We ended the year with all the non-playoff teams getting letter grades. And then we did last week also with the wild card teams that got eliminated in wild card weekend. And we'll do it again this week with 4 more teams that got eliminated from the divisional weekend. So we're going to go in order.
Conference Championship Sunday. CCS.
So let's say sayonara to the 4 teams one last time, to the 4 teams that got eliminated on Central Weekend. Oh, divisional weekend rather. And let's start with the Tennessee Titans, who were eliminated by the Cincinnati Bengals.
So as much as Titans fans, listen, when a student comes in, every now and again they have difficult parents. And that's what the Titans fans were difficult parents for a student. Thought that their student was much more capable of what they really were. But because I did what I did in the preseason and, predicted the AFC South to be won by the Tennessee Titans in August in my article with the3pointconversion.com, that's the number 3, not the word 3, I expected them to get to where they got. I expected them to possibly have a bye, which they achieved. I didn't think they'd win it. I thought KC would. They didn't. It is what it is. Then they came out, and I'll say this much. No one expected Ryan Tannehill to struggle the way that he did in that game. That was not expected. I don't know what it is. I know that the Titans O-line has been dealing with injuries throughout the year, and while I actually watched the games, I was kind of out of touch with what the injuries were going into that contest when I picked it. But there was definitely some struggles there with Tannehill being under duress. He made mistakes that the only time I saw him make were in Miami,
Yeah.
Well, and of course, I'm leaving out times when he didn't have Derrick Henry in support, so he had to do a lot more. We're in Miami, where he was missing offensive linemen. This is easily probably one of the worst high-pressure performances I've seen Tannehill play. And I know it's popular to throw him under the bus. I know it's popular to comment, well, the Titans are looking for another quarterback. Guys, everyone's always looking for a better quarterback. They just usually can't find it.
Probably because of economics, too, also.
Yeah, and that's definitely a pattern. I'm glad you mentioned that because I know a lot of people, fans in particular, do forget that this is a business. And, money never sleeps and money doesn't care about your feelings.
Correct. So, what grade are you giving the Titans end this year?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with a B-. The reason why I gave that preamble is to explain why I'm not really penalizing them a whole lot. Listen, I'm not going to hold the student accountable for the inexcusable behavior of their parents. Now, I might call the community resource officer, and he'll come in and comment about how dumb they looked on the YouTube page.
Yeah.
Thank you, Officer EJ.
Looks so bad. If it's the one guy that sent the thing on there saying, the Bengals, ha, 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 ha. And I responded, yeah, the Bengals.
Ha, 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 ha,
ha.
But of course, they're all going to rush back any moment now and comment about how right we were and how foolish they were to mock us. Because every Titans fan is a high quality citizen that would come in and be so gracious. Anyways, so I gotta be, what did I say, B-,
yeah.
B+? Yeah. What did I say, B-? I'm trying to remember.
B-.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, because I also want to be as well, too. And I think also, again, when you look at these grades, we talk about expectations way in this thing. And then what we went through the year and all that. So we knew the Titans were a playoff team. We knew that was the standard. Okay, we'll make the playoffs, whether or not they would win the South or be a wild card because we didn't know how good the Colts were going to be. Then we saw the Colts injuries early in the year with Wentz and, Quentin Nelson and all that. And we figured, okay, well, Titans have a clear shot to win this thing now, And then they lose Derrick Henry. And we're thinking, okay, well, they're going to fall to the face of the earth now probably. And
which they did for a bit,
but it sustained themselves and get into the seed. I know the AFC was a little wonky this year, but Titans did their job for the most part.
Listen, this is why it's great to have a weak schedule. Now, granted, Ryan Tannehill throwing 4 interceptions against the Texans took a bit of that advantage away, but it's special when you get to still play them a second time and play the Jags twice. And those games, I think, were the difference in them making the number 1 seed or not. Now, had they come out in the first week, and let's say they had a shot at playing, I don't know, let's say the Steelers. Actually, they might have blown that game. They blown a game against the Steelers before.
Yeah, too.
But I think they would have progressed past the first round if they actually participated in it. I'll give them that much credit.
Right. I mean, they had some weird losses this year. Texas lost, Jets lost. They had some good wins this year.
They had some wins that you didn't expect either to counteract it.
And right. So, but I think also when you properly grade this team, did they have a good year? Absolutely. But did they fall below expectations based on how they did this year? Yes, because if you're number 1 seed, you should at the very least win your first game out the gate.
No, I can't get behind that. I can't get behind that because one, Cincinnati's playing hot. I think that's unfair. Every team on the AFC side is scared to play the Bengals, right? So let's not go that crazy. I think the other problem is that the expectations held by the fans were too high, right? Why did they get Julio Jones, Ernest Christian? Because they thought that's what they needed to win a shootout with Kansas City, one that never took place, I might add.
Yep.
So with all that in mind, you thought the offensive line would hold up better. Titans fans, especially some writers in the 3-point conversion not named Mike Payton, the general, shouts to him, were trying to tell me about how all these improvements they made on defense, and I told them I wasn't impressed, and now you see why. Again, I've never said the Titans are a bad team, but I'm just not a believer in them as a Super Bowl contender at this point. Yeah, the smartest thing, too, in them looking for a quarterback more now than ever, though, I don't know how much sustainable Derrick Henry is with this kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, running backs wear down. Everybody remembers Sean I don't want to list all the examples, but my favorite two to mention are Sean Alexander, Priest Holmes, and Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson. I could think of as Jones. I knew that wasn't right.
Larry Johnson, not the Charlotte Hornet.
Yeah, not to be confused with Grandmama. Correct.
Exactly. The only reason I even mentioned the Titans being in the conversation of contending is because the AFC was weird this year. It was like a default move.
We've heard your horrible reasoning, and some of us need a lot more than faith.
And I still didn't even pull the trigger on that because I don't trust them.
No, you had them. You may have had them fourth at one point, but you had them fifth, and I've said that's been high throughout the year, and once again proven correct.
Yeah, I lowered them after the end of the year. So, but yeah, B- is where that they had a good year, but they are properly rated the way you and I have them. Okay, this should be fun. This should be probably the highlight of the four here. That is the Green Bay Packers, who lost to the San Francisco 49ers on Saturday night. And go. Number one seed.
Let me tell you why this is a hard grade to give. Because the Packers situation, many things occurred that you should be perfectly able to punish them for and take points off for.
Yeah.
But be damned if they still didn't perform. Right? Mm-hmm. This was a team that still found a way to be the top seed, right? Despite all the noise. But at the end of the day, it's those little things, those little details not being buttoned up that made the difference, right? I'm looking at you, special teams. I could say all I want about Aaron Rodgers and Mercedes Lewis fumbling. And, let's not forget, weather wasn't exactly stellar. The ish was in Lambeau. It was snowing at times. It's tough to throw in that wind. I don't care if your name's Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, or whoever you are. Okay? You're going to have a little trouble in the air game there. Probably part of the reason why Garoppolo threw a pick. And I thought he would have more than one. He did not. What do I know? But when this is why the special teams blunders are what I'm going to hit so hard in this game in particular. Mm-hmm. This is 101 level stuff. EJ, special teams blocking, especially in the interior line, which, by the way, both the block punts and questions came through the middle. It's not like they came off the edge and some, You've seen the kind of play I'm talking about with the block where some corner goes and like it looks like some Matrix stuff, right? Yeah. It might have been more fun to watch than the new Matrix movie. I haven't seen the new Matrix movie, but based on what I've heard, I have reason to believe. So I say all that to say, excuse me, if you don't block inside on a special teams play as a big guy in the middle, as one of the hogs, you are in fact doing it wrong. And I don't mean just, you got beat. I mean, high schoolers get taught that. College players see that fundamental. In the semi-pro, I was taught and told that every time by every special teams coach, whether I already knew it or not, that's what they preach. You go to church, what's one thing you're going to hear from? The Bible. Everybody knows it, even if you're not baptized. And yet, the devil still came to Lambeau. The devil went down to Lambeau. He was looking for a score to steal, okay?
Yeah.
Charlie Daniels for the win, bitch. But I think I mentioned all of that to mention that the moment that's the reason for their playoff loss, they're lower than A. The expectations for them was at least championship game, and in some cases, many were predicting a rematch of said NFC championship game between Aaron Rodgers and Tampa. Now, even though I picked the Packers this past weekend, I told you 2 weeks ago why that wouldn't happen. And even against my own faith and my own oracle, it still happened. But
I'm with you. The only game they hit on this weekend, actually.
Yeah. So I'm in that place where I can't give them an A. But I don't think they deserve less than a C either. So I'm going to go to my go-to here in these kind of situations. I'm going to give them a B-. They could have done so much better with when they have, and the way they lost. It's not like this. If they had lost more like one of the Sunday games, I'd have given them a solid B+. But no, they're down to B-, and I can see plenty of defense for giving them a C.
So this was hard for me because again, we look back to how we started the year. A lot of people were soft, though, because of the drama with Aaron Rodgers and whatnot. I know might throw out in a second, but a lot of the drama.
And let's not forget the Week 1 game too. While you're on that topic, right?
Then you have Week 1 game that happens, and they lose to New Orleans.
The Saints, right?
Right, and then they go on 7-8 straight games, and whatever. Rodgers has the COVID thing, of course. But at the end of the day, to me, it was always with Aaron Rodgers especially. This was always about championship or bust, or championship. At least get
conference championship or bust.
Right? I was for saying he had, to me, given all the drama that went around Aaron Rodgers this offseason, and it's still a really good team.
Yep.
You had to at least get to the Super Bowl to be satisfactory, in my opinion, based on the expectation. Now, look, again, it's tough because coming to the year, we all thought, I don't know, maybe it could be the year Green Bay falls apart because of the drama and this and that. So I had to go C-.
Yeah, and that's fair. You make a great point that Rodgers is out of excuses, but even though he's the quarterback and all that, it's hard for me to grade so hard on the single player because, listen, the Packers had a run game for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So like that's something that I enjoyed watching. Their defense was okay. They did a great job. You got enough from them to prevent an offensive touchdown from deciding the contest, right?
If you told me San Francisco had a more balanced game and won that game, I can say, okay, fine, I'll live with it because I was, you and I, you more so than me early on, were saying that this is a bad matchup and it played out such.
Mm-hmm.
But we're watching this game together, not together, but we're texting each other during the game.
Yeah.
And it's 7-0 Green Bay for most of the game. You're saying this game's still over because San Fran has no offense whatsoever. Nothing.
And I'm still waiting for Garoppolo's second turnover, which never came.
So Aaron Rodgers just needed to make one more play, and that game was over. And the fact that it's not the fact they lost the game, pal, that really teed me off by the Packers. It's the way they lost. It wasn't that San Fran outplayed them. The defense, obviously, the defense played fantastic, and you got all the credit in the world for that. But you give me one more touchdown, game's over.
I can't. I mean, and the perfect response to the response I'm going to give is, well, he's an MVP, and I expect that. But that's a philosophy thing. For me, it's still a team game, and I have to tell you, EJ, just this, if with all that's going on, you got Garoppolo at a fraction of a percent, at a fraction, at a lower percentage than 100, we'll say, for his shoulder, okay, and you're getting in and disrupting that backfield, and you couldn't get any more turnovers. I could say that very simply about the defense too. And by the way, they did do enough to make it so both Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel are going to be impacted in the next game. So, I mean, there's that in their favor too. But like, let's remember, there's at least a couple more turnovers out there that they should have gotten. Mm-hmm. I feel like that they didn't.
Yeah. Again, you score. To me, I knew they were in trouble when I think the score was at the time it was either 7-3. They were moving the ball in late third quarter, early fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And Aaron Rodgers had a chance to put the game, in my opinion, based on the play played out, put the game away. Just couldn't do it. And to me, it was like, ooh, well. This is why I kept telling you in text that this game's not over, because the thing is that even though they're playing so bad, because the game is in reach, they can still commit to the run. They can still, and you have to account for anomalies. The anomaly came to pass, being the block punt. It put it in play. So we made it into his job, and you're number one seed. And we've been praising you all year long as number one seed most of the year. We've been praising you as the number one.
No, that's true. That's true.
Too. So if I'm going to grade you high as saying that you are the contenders, when you let me down on the first rip of the playoffs, I gotta grade you harshly.
Yeah, no. Like I said, if you said C, I got no beef.
I can C minus.
Okay, I'm down.
All right, next.
But between our two grades, they average a C. I'm good with that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next team here. We go to Sunday games. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who lost to the LA Rams. What a game, huh?
It was only close because the Rams did everything they could to give it back. Brady had all sorts of luck handed to him again. And unfortunately, Matt Stafford given the opportunity to shine. See what happens when he's not stuck in Detroit? We've been telling you, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Tell the folks. I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Yes. Look, I'm not gonna say Brady was the reason they came back in the game. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But when you give Brady chances, he will.
When you give Brady chances, when he has Pro Bowl caliber players at every level, the name doesn't have to be Brady. Brady could have done it. Stafford could have done it. Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. Aaron Charlet Rodgers. I don't know. Any quarterback not named Tannehill could probably have done it. And I'm including Jimmy Garoppolo because he has, right? So, yeah, again, this roster is amazing. What I don't understand exactly is what happened to the Rams defense to where they started getting gashed at the end. I kind of feel like this, they kind of suffered from, spastic colon Sunday there and got all nervous.
Yeah.
And see also what happened, ironically, against Brady to the Jags in, 2008 in the championship, conference championship game playing Brady.
It was 18, yeah.
So, but again, masterful field goal setup by Stafford. I would have thought that would have been the play of the playoffs until. But getting back to grading the Bucs, I mean, obviously it's incredibly hard to grade harshly on these cats, right? I mean, they literally, they are a walking boot on Tristan Wirfs away from winning this game. Let's call that what it is, ladies and gentlemen. All right?
Absolutely.
There's a reason why you and I picked this game this way. You were about to pick your boy Brady. You were setting up a lunch date already to tell him how great he was until I said to you, hey, O-line injuries. And you're like, oh.
I know. Once I had an O-line, and then we saw Monday night against the Cardinals with Von Miller and Aaron Donald's going fucking ape shit.
Yeah, Von Miller impressed me too. Yeah. That's a good point by you.
The Rams are back. I kept telling you, they're back.
You and your so-and-sos are back stuff.
Yeah, they're back. No, but,
I don't know that the Rams ever really arrived. Can we have that conversation?
So the Bucs already entered the playoffs actually hurt anyway.
Correct.
Then you add injuries after coming out of the Eagles win.
Yep.
They were dead men walking anyway. So the fact this game being close, to be honest with you, was actually kind of, it's a credit to the Bucs' heart.
And just asinine for the Rams with all that they gave away. Now, granted, the first Cam Akers fumble was kind of freaked out. Personally, I didn't like them overturning it, but by the same token, they felt like they had enough video evidence. I thought it was too close and that they should have gone with what was on the field, but I ain't mad at it.
On the goal line, right? Near the goal line?
Yeah. And by the way, that touchdown puts the game away even further. We're not even having this conversation.
At that point, it's 27-3 going into the half.
Correct.
They didn't get the ball first.
Yeah.
Which they actually scored again in the second half.
I mean, the Falcons didn't even have that big a lead, did they? Anyways. No. Shouts Danny Thompson.
Hi, Danny.
Anyway, we're so awful.
It's okay. It's allowed.
Oh, totally. The fraud cons, man. Let me tell you. The only team more fraudulent than them now is apparently the Titans.
Ooh.
Anyways, no, but listen. You were ready to give him the middle name treatment. I'm not yet, but if he wins the Super Bowl, we'll talk. He definitely has to get through San Fran, because if he gets swept by the Niners, that's really bad. But yes, for the Bucs, for all that they accomplished, they have the longest string of games of everybody with playoffs and all this other stuff and Super Bowl and potential repeat and blah, 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 blah. Very easily. I'm going to give him an A-. You know what?
Wow, nice.
It's with all the, because here's the main reason why. What gives it a little spice to put it into the A range for me is that that A-B drama could have derailed any other team.
Right.
And Thomas Edward Bieber Brady did his part more than anything else there. I don't care so much like people want to talk about he's got all these numbers. Yeah, great. He also has arguably the best offensive roster even unhealthy, one of the best offensive rosters in the NFL and one of the best defenses in support. But what he did, granted, it was mired in BS. I didn't buy a lot of the stuff he was trying to sell me, but it worked to keep the team moving forward, and that's all he was really caring about and trying to do.
Yeah, I went a little less than you, but I had the same idea. B+ for the Bucks.
Sure.
Like I said, Super Bowl bust, obviously, but whatever. But I do think if they were fully healthy, they win this game against the Rams. And we have a conversation probably about them being San Francisco the week after. So, to me,
I can't go that far, but it would be interesting to see.
I'm saying, to me, it's the injuries. To me, it's just the injuries.
It's definitely a big part, yeah.
I mean, if they're healthy, I think they beat the Rams. I'm picking them to beat the Rams because they are on paper a better team on paper than the Rams are.
I think the reason why that isn't necessarily correct is because the reason why the mistakes came is because the Rams started drinking the Kool-Aid and they were feeling themselves and yeah, ding dong, the witch is dead, mother beep.
No, what's worth noting though, they've now beat them twice this year though.
Correct. Yes, that's a great point. I forgot it was a second contest. So all the more. Like, especially, like, bro, Brady does not lose to teams twice in a year. That's typically a thing that does not happen.
Well, it's the Saints.
Right. Again, it happens, but not a lot.
Shit. That's just weird shit.
Yeah, I'm still trying to calculate that. But, there's a reason why the defensive coordinator is a candidate to get a job somewhere. I'm not saying he should get it. I'm just saying there's a reason he's a candidate.
Right.
So.
We're going to coach in a second. But, yeah, give him a B. So. I guess we could touch on it now if we want to. Tom Brady's future, real quick, before we go to the next team. We probably should touch on the Aaron Rodgers thing too. Also, I guess we could talk about
the Aaron Rodgers thing is not newsworthy at all. He said the way he said it and what he said is no different than anything he said this time last year, and everybody lost their goddamn minds.
I am not rebuilding.
That's the one difference. The not where I don't want to rebuild thing is the only difference.
We got some breaking news here, buddy. Sean Payton's leaving the Saints.
Oh, wow.
It's funny because I had this on the docket of topics, Sean Payton's future.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about it after the next team. We'll go to Sean. We'll wrap around the Sean Payton thing in a second.
Sure.
Because on the dock anyway, but now it's actually there's more fluid information now. But yes, leaving the Saints. He's stepping away. Which means I'm McCarthy. Who knows? Just saying. Last team here, that is the Buffalo Bills, who lost miraculous win to the Chiefs. Oh wow, what a game! Bills lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Bills definitely get an A. I can dance around all I want. I know they had moments where they faltered, but overall they get an A. They're not going to get an A+, obviously, because again, those moments where they faltered. If they had beaten the Jags, for example, in a game they should have won, they might have gotten an A+, because losing to Patrick Mahomes II, nobody should lose points for that. But, and by the way, all the people griping about the NFL overtime, let's distinguish two different sides of the argument, okay? If you say to somebody, hey, in overtime, do you think both sides should get a possession? 100% of people will say yes. The only ones who won't will be either Kansas City fans or what people like myself who are sick of people insinuating that the Bills were robbed. They weren't. Not unless you think the larceny in question was committed by Patrick Mahomes II in getting into field goal range with 13 seconds left in the damn game, starting on his own 25. If you're going to put that on the overtime rules, you're wrong. You're a special form of wrong. And really, I wonder why you watch football at all.
Wrong. Where am I at? Hold on, I got to simmer.
In the words of Dr. Percival Cox, wrong.
I got you.
Wrong.
You're wrong.
Now, that being said, how do you feel about the rule, though?
The rule obviously sucks. I led with that. You buried the lead, EJ Christian. Of course both sides should get possession. Yeah, absolutely. I know why they're not doing it, right? Because at some point the advertisers are involved and they're going to feel like they get screwed. It is what it is. In a perfect world, the NFL, from a business standpoint and only a business standpoint, want their games to end in time with their 3-hour blocks so that everybody in the advertisers is happy and nobody's worried about the money. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, listen, football games are already 3.5 hours long, for Christ's sake. I mean, work with me here.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you gave him an A, right?
Yes, I did.
I gave him a B. Only because I'm looking
because of Jacksonville. No.
Well, I mean, it's part of the equation.
I know.
I wanted to see a more dominant Buffalo Bills team. I had them going to the championship game this year. I had them winning 13-ish games this year as well too. Now, obviously, they ended well, great, but there was a time. But Kyle, there was a time that the Bills were going to get in the playoffs because we had confidence in Josh Allen, but there was 7-6. They lost some couple weird games, Jaguars game, of course, too, and some other games in there. And there was some literally we didn't know. There's a possibility they missed the playoffs altogether. And remember that whole kerfuffle.
So, what was their midterm grade? We didn't do midterm grades, we did. I forget what their midterm grade was. But it wasn't an A.
We always do midterm grades. Count Nash to the game. We always do midterm grades. Always.
Right. But no, I forgot for a second. Chill out, man.
No, that's all right.
You know, listen. I'm coming down from covering 4 sports this year, including my work with the Black and Gold Banneret.
I actually think we graded them low actually in midterm because
we absolutely did.
I can't remember exactly where you were at coming into the year. I had high hopes of the Bills going to the year. And at that time, they were still, I think, 5-3, somewhere in there. They were kind of like, they started off great, but then they're winning games against shit teams, and then there's good teams, they play like crap. And we were still kind of like, what's going on? Is this team back to earth a little bit? So the fact they got back to the B, you know, because of the strong showing at the end, and almost beating Kansas City, you know, helped them go up again.
For all intents and purposes, beating literally any other quarterback in the National Football League not named Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. Let's call that what it is. No other of the 30 remaining teams, because obviously, I mean, the Bills can beat themselves apparently. No, but no other squad could have pulled that off. None.
But yeah, Josh Allen's arrived though. I mean, if we had doubts about Josh Allen before this, I mean, he was fantastic, especially down the stretch. Not just on Sunday, but down the stretch.
He is in that odd place where Russell Carrington Wilson was a number of years back when I was calling him good but overrated. That's exactly where Josh Allen is right now.
Yeah.
Because people are saying top 5, and I'm like, GTFOH. Okay, no.
Yeah. All right. We just touched on that a little while ago. Breaking news: Sean Payton. It's funny. I had this on the doc because there was rumors about Sean Payton in his future, and it's in the air, maybe whatever. Sean Payton is leaving the New Orleans Saints. That just broke literally 5 minutes ago. As we recorded this podcast. All I can say to me personally, all I can say is this. By Mike McCarthy. I can say, because I think that is Jerry Jones' wet dream to get that guy under his staff.
I'm not so sure. I don't believe he fits the Cowboy brand. Now, let me be clear. It'd be a very smart move for the Cowboys, right? It would be, if anybody's going to develop Dakota Prescott, it's certainly going to be Sean Payton, unquestionably. There are certain things that do fit. You know, I can see him making sense taking the job, other than the fact that I don't think he's a yes man type of guy. I just don't.
Right.
You know, I think he makes sense if the Bears go after him. But I don't know that cap hell is something any coach of any clout would walk into. I think he would make a lot of sense in Jacksonville. I think they have fewer problems. They just have an owner who doesn't know any better. But I don't think Trent Baalke is smart enough to make this hire, right? So it's going to be fascinating for sure. But I think he makes sense for the Raiders as well while we're on the conversation. So, especially Derek Carr and that group high flying against a division that, relatively speaking, is defensively weak. Let's go,
Well, I mean,
actually, the more I think about it, the more I like Vegas.
It could be in play, but I'll tell you what, to me, we've heard this for years, not just the last year or two. I go as far as 2016. We've heard well, Sean Payton goes to Dallas. I mean, he has connections there. Jerry loves him, but and of course, they work things out and stay the course. But what if? And now we're in a situation now where Mike McCarthy, and I said too last week on the podcast, I'm not advocating for McCarthy's firing in Dallas. I'm not saying he is the problem, but it would not shock me.
But would it be an upgrade?
Someone says goodbye, and then it may take something like this on the table where it exacerbates the situation.
Or even Mike McCarthy's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So that's why my first thoughts is okay. Yeah, Mike McCarthy.
Well, and you're a Cowboys fan too, so that also is part of the situation.
Oh, I mean, come on now, come on. It'd be interesting to see what Big Jim says tonight on the whole podcast about all that. Honestly,
he's not as big a Cowboys fan as you, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
That is a disgusting act. That's for the record. I don't have that.
Joe Buck yourself.
Did we touch on Brady already? No.
We did. Oh no, we didn't. We started to. Brady's a crapshoot too, man. Every year, what he's saying now, and people are apparently paying more attention to, is something that I feel like's been the case for the past 2 years. He's weighing his options. He's actually even saying now, we're not hearing in rumors that Gisele's griping at him for getting hit so much. He's even saying now, Gisele doesn't like me getting hit, so I have to listen to that. I want to be a good dad to my kids, all this other stuff. I believe every word of what he's putting out there. But I also think he's addicted. Nate Burleson put it best on the CBS show after the playoff game. Tom Brady is addicted to doing this stuff, which isn't a surprise. He's been doing it for how many decades again? So
he's diabolical driven too. On top of that, he's diabolical driven. In my opinion, that's why I respect the guy.
Yeah, he's certainly driven. Nobody would argue with that. I think the only way we would know for a fact he's returning is if he won the Super Bowl. Because if he wins, he's like, why would I stop? And he'd be right. But here, if Brady doesn't, here's my tinfoil hat theory. You ready? If Brady doesn't retire, you blame the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
Because they made that game get close. If Cam Akers is up 27-3 and they continue to pound them to the point where it was a 20-plus deficit at the end of the game, like they were set up to do, Brady retires. Guaranteed. There's no way we can find out without any sort of special device from the Rick and Morty show or something. But
well, the tweet the message he put on his podcast, the message was actually very cryptic. Obviously, well, it's not cryptic. It's actually just something.
It was honest. It was wholesome.
Yeah, wholesome because it's about his family. Because I think we all know he wants to play another year or another 2, 3, 4, whatever, how long he'll play.
He said 45 at one point.
And I tweeted yesterday too. I think ultimately he does come at least one more year. Yeah. But I do think this is the first time he's really considering the option.
I don't agree with that. I think he considered retiring when he was doing the free agency stuff.
Right.
And then the things went the way they did in Tampa. But don't tell me retirement wasn't on the damn board. Don't be stupid. No way. He was definitely thinking about it. I would also argue going into the previous season, he was at least thinking about it. Now, I would put the percentage at 20 or 30% tops. But as far as last year with going free agent versus if it was retirement versus returning, he would retire first.
Right.
Free agency versus returning, that point it was 50-50. And Tampa won, No one saw Tampa coming, buddy. You know this, man. And you know this, man.
Thank you, Chris Tucker. We also have some news and notes on coaching finalists on certain teams. The Bears and the Broncos are narrowed their search down to three guys. There's a report about the Bears right now coming in that Jim Caldwell is actually a leader to be getting that job, possibly.
For the Bears, you said?
For the Bears, yes.
Okay.
Dan Quinn is a finalist of both the jobs. I already said last week I think Dan Quinn's going to go to Denver. That's my personal opinion. We've heard Byron Leftwich is now getting a second interview today with the Jaguars. You covered the Jaguars, obviously.
Which, as wrong as I apparently am with my conspiracy theory, let me be clear. As I laid down said conspiracy theory, what have I always said, EJ? Love the hire in Jacksonville. Love the hire in Jacksonville. And I love the hire in Jacksonville.
Yeah. So, where do you I guess predictions? What do you see?
Well, here's the statement I'm going to make up front. Dan Quinn, the only job he should be considered for that's remaining that's not Jacksonville is Vegas. Any team that's defensively strong now and needs offensive help has no business going to this guy.
Right.
Because it's not what they need. That is not a slight on Dan Quinn. I'm telling you, I don't think that's a fit.
Okay.
Caldwell.
If it happens, of course.
In Chicago. Go on. Right? Because what he was replaced with, if I remember correctly, was Jim Schwartz to bring in some defensive toughness, which for a short time he did. Granted, didn't do very much against the 49ers, am I right?
Damn.
That was a shakedown for those who get that Harbaugh versus Schwartz joke.
I see what you did there.
Very good, Mr. Tyson. No, but I like, and also I make the jokes there about the Lions because that's 2 games a year he's guaranteed to effing win now. You know what I'm saying? Is against his former team. And damn it, I just think he's the right temperament for a situation like what's going on in Chicago to fix it.
Right. Okay.
Now, if you want to talk to me about, actually, you know where Dan Quinn might also make sense in New Orleans, though I would argue they're in offensive need more than defensive need right now. Actually, you know what? Scratch it. I changed my mind. That offense isn't half of what it used to be. I'm used to what was going on in the past. Dan Quinn is not a fit there. What I would like to see is everybody talks about Eric Bieniemy, and I really believe he's hanging out to replace, possibly to replace Andy Reid, which, I mean, as long as they're making it to Super Bowls, he's not going anywhere. But I really like the concept of an Eric Bieniemy in New Orleans. That is a team that's a fit. Okay. And if the Saints don't hire him, they are precisely as dumb as we thought. You want to go out there and, tear up Drew Brees and, put him in a situation where people memeing him in a Klan hood. Cool. All right. Put your money where your mouth is now and go get Bieniemy. Because not only is he a fit, you can actually be consistent for once. I said it.
You did say it. All right, before we get to go, quick predictions to the weekend. This is the first game. Bengals, go.
Well, listen, this was easily your best ranking so far of the year. Granted, it was also the fewest teams to rank. You still blew it because the Chiefs aren't number 1. The Rams are. However,
I almost pulled the trigger.
Stop it, Chiefs fan. I don't care.
Had the Rams not blown that lead,
the Colts are eliminated. I want to hear a damn thing about horseshoes from you. Okay?
Damn, okay.
That was a hell of a dunk. You like that? Close is only in horseshoes and hand grenades. And I dropped a bomb on you using a horseshoe joke. Like, they're so meta. You get just sit down, EJ Christian. Let me finish this segment for you. Anyways, see, that's where you put, you need to leave.
Disrespectful, stupid idiot.
I'll go with it. This weekend, listen, man, you see me get the hat and the shirt and all that. I'm not picking the Niners. Only a fool would. You expect to beat them a third time. That's tough for any team to do when you're full strength. Trent Williams is banged up. Deebo Samuel is banged up. And Jimmy's throwing with a bad shoulder. They're going to lose this football game. Bottom line. The other one, a bit more intriguing, to say the least.
Yes.
That being said, intrigue's adorable, but I talked about balance last week as the reason why the Bengals will lose a football game. Patrick Mahomes II is not throwing 3 interceptions, and the Chiefs have even more balance than the Titans do. If I'm wrong and Joe Burrow makes it to the Super Bowl, I'm cheering for him all the same. But at the end of the day, I have the Chiefs. And for some reason, Jim apparently has a problem with greatness. We'll talk about that on the Huddle Up podcast.
I can't wait for tonight's show. I cannot wait.
There's been some objectively awful takes from Big Jim of late, and
some takes have been a little. Okay, we got to talk about this a little bit. Let's pull you aside.
If I'm going to put your feet to the fire, I have to be fair, EJ Christian.
Yeah, exactly. All right, plug me, buddy.
My friend, always good to be here because football is awesome. I'm Kyle Nash, the Student of the Game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. You can find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the Student of the Game. Check out my writings with the Black and Gold Banneret as I cover UCF football and basketball. And, of course, my writings with the 3pointconversion.com. Coming up here real soon, leading into the Super Bowl, you will see the 3-point conversion descend upon Media Row and Media Day in Los Angeles leading up to the Super Bowl. And I will be a part of that. Look out for that, too, as well. And my work with Demosthenes Euclid of the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel. Hey, Demos is telling me he's looking for the right podcasting service, so you won't have to be stuck with video, EJ.
Just Anchor. It's free.
That's an argument you need to have with Demosthenes Euclid, sir.
Just tell him Anchor it's free.
Demosthenes Euclid. Anyways, you did that just so I'd say his name again.
Yeah.
And of course, until next time, everyone, great time all the way around. Honor, joy, and privilege, but class dismissed.
It is our championship weekend, EJ's versus Degenerate edition. Of course, Zach and I. What's up, Zach?
What's happening?
You look a little cold there, buddy.
Yeah, this fucking winter in Florida shit, man. The only good thing is, the colder the winter, fewer hurricanes.
That's true. So, the last couple of days, Sunday I went to 2 kids' birthday parties with my family, both of them in pavilions. I went there with shorts and in shirts and thinking, no big deal. It was a little chilly, no big deal. Get some sun and be all right. No, it was all overcast the entire day. So I froze my ass off. Both parties. Last night, I go to the fair for the first time in 15 years. Family. I haven't gone since I was 2007. Honestly, I was reminded why. My wallet does not like me. My wallet does not like me right now.
Oh my God! I only go to the fair for the food at this point.
That's what I did. That's exactly what I went for. And the kids went on the rides, the kids rides,
Yeah.
But my wallet did not like me. I stayed in budget though. Get me wrong. I stayed in budget because I told Lauren, my wife, that listen, we'll go, but we gotta stay within this certain amount of money. I want to go overboard. I know he's supposed to go overboard and get everything under the sun. The kids want toys, isn't that?
Man, it's a 2-income house day. You can splurge a little, have a little fun.
Yeah, I understand that. I I get it, but still, it's irresponsible here. But I did enjoy it. But I will say I was reminded why I haven't gone in 15 years.
That's a shame, man. I miss going.
When was the last you went to the fair?
God, probably close to when you did. Maybe 2010, 2011.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's going on until the end of the month, so. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't that crowded, and got some good food, and stuff my face. Once a year, right? It ain't gonna hurt you. Once a year. Come on now.
You get the corn on the cob?
No.
You loser.
No, I probably should have though. Honestly, there's a
butter, man.
Next time I'm gonna get that, and I'm gonna get kettle corn popcorn.
Sausage and peppers, at least.
No, I was lame.
What the hell do you eat there?
I got burgers and fries. That was Lauren. Burgers and fries. I got pizza. I did get chicken pita though. Chicken pita.
So you go to a fair and you get the food that you can get at a food court any day of the week.
Because I'm lame. Yes. Because I'm lame.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I agree.
It's disgraceful and sad.
No, I totally agree with you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I left there thinking, well, the pita is something. I never get pita normally. I don't ever eat pita.
Fried Oreos, any fried dessert.
I did get a cookie.
Man, your poor kids. They're never gonna learn how to experience a fair.
Well, Lauren did get the she did get the giant cheese stick. Cheese stick.
Oh, there you go.
I don't like mozzarella. I don't care. She got that though. So anyway, give me your thoughts on divisional weekend. I mean, I know we're big on hyperbole, not necessarily on this podcast, but I have a hard time disagreeing with people saying that this was the greatest NFL playoff weekend ever. I have a hard time disagreeing with that, honestly.
Playoff weekend, yeah. I've never watched a playoff weekend, especially when my hopes were down a little after the first weekend of a bunch of blowouts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was not expecting every game to come to the wire like this.
Right. I mean, all came on the field goal. Well, Case technically going to overtime, with a field goal, but then winning in, touchdown in overtime. But I mean, this was that Chiefs game. I was so high after that game. You'd think I was a Chiefs fan. Like, it's like when the Giants won the Super Bowl. I was like high for like hours and hours and hours. I couldn't come down. It took me 2 hours to calm down after that game.
I couldn't believe it. As far as like my family is huge Chiefs fans on my side, so part of me loves to hate on the Chiefs just to see them be miserable.
Right.
But the other part was happy to see them win. And to see him do that in 13 freaking seconds. And I've heard people talk, oh, they shouldn't have kicked it. They should never have kicked it. They should have squib kicked. All right. So you have those fast hands team of Kansas City. You squib kick it. Maybe you get to the 40 and someone picks it up. Then they only need 15 yards for a game-winning kick.
Right.
You had to play some sort of defense. That was it. You kick it deep. At least they have to go 65 yards.
Yeah. Where are you on the overtime rule? Because I know everybody's like all big on the whole like we should change the rule, and I agree for the record. But to me, it has less to do with the game on Sunday. I've been saying this since the day they announced the rule in general that every team should at least have a chance to touch the ball once.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well,
I like sudden death.
Well, give me an argument for keeping it what it is.
So that there's no change. That's the argument. There's no change.
So basically, you're saying it comes down to a coin flip.
No, I think it should be sudden death. Even a field goal. First team who gets the ball and makes a kick, that should be it. Sudden death.
So I think college football has a half right because college football, they do the whole 25-yard line thing and all that. I don't like the 25-yard line thing, but I'd like the fact that teams have a chance to respond.
Oh, do you like it after the third overtime?
No. What I'm saying is that I'd rather they start the ball from where they kick it off from, not from the 25-yard line. I mean, but at least every team has a chance to respond. So they got a half right, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't think you can bitch and say both teams should be able to get the ball. Because, again, I believe in sudden death.
Right. So basically, saying it's coin flip then. Because they basically, it's I mean,
why can't you play defense for 4 downs? And really only 3. If you could play real defense for 3 downs and make it 4th and 10 from the 25, guess what? Kansas City would kick.
Right. Fair.
And you would get the ball back.
You sound like a traditionalist, buddy. Couple of takeaways before we get to the picks. Aaron Rodgers. Time a conversation about him, buddy.
I would really like to discuss how many tiers do you have in a quarterback tier system? so that you can make him an all-time great.
If we're just discussing this, the immediate top 2 or 3 tiers, he's tier 2. Like I explained on social media this week. He's Peyton Manning. He's pretty much Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning isn't on tier 1 or 2.
Wait, okay. So do you have a tier? I know tier 1's probably easy. Montana and Brady, right?
No, tier 1 is Brady.
Period. Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Tier 2 was everybody that used to get an argument against him, which was Montana, Elway, and I would say Bradshaw. Those would be. Well, you look at what Bradshaw actually did to win the Super Bowls.
I get the 4
He showed up for 4 Super Bowls.
The only reason
he didn't get a help by a defense. He didn't get a help by a kick. He showed up for all 4 Super Bowls.
The reason I put Montana in tier 1 though is that I think the 4-0 thing's impressive in that era too, especially, and with the injuries he had too, especially. That's why I put him in the Brady tier because of that. Because if he stayed healthy, he could have won along. He probably could have won a couple more.
All right, so if we do Montana and Brady in tier 1, in tier 2, you still couldn't put a one-time Super Bowl appearance quarterback in that tier.
You Dan Marino?
No, because Dan Marino's not a top 10 quarterback. At the end of the day, he's not really a top 10 quarterback all time.
Definitely on. You and I are definitely on. When it comes to the top 10 rankings, it's quite clear right now. I mean, just had the argument yet about this, but it's quite clear that you and I are definitely on polar opposites of how we should rank these quarterbacks.
Yeah, you go with a guy whose offense is completely geared toward him just throwing the football. Mm-hmm. Whereas I look at it as a guy who comes up clutch in the most important times of his career.
You talking about who?
Aaron Rodgers, or you could say Dan Marino. I mean, you cannot be considered the greatest passer until Rodgers, because that's what Dan Marino was, the greatest passer.
Okay,
He's the greatest quarterback, but they always said he was the greatest passer.
So all tiers aside, who would your top 5 be? I mean, it has to be in order. I guess you want to put in order, but who would your top 5 be in order if you could reel them off?
Right now, I would Brady, Montana, Elway, 1, 2, 3, just like that.
Okay.
And then 4, I throw Bradshaw in there, 4.
And then 5?
And 5.
If you say Troy Aikman, I'm gonna slap you.
No.
This is tough though.
5, I might go Peyton Manning.
So Peyton Manning. So Rodgers is number 6 or 7, probably then, right?
No.
Oh.
Again.
Is he top 10?
I don't think he would be top 10.
Okay.
Because at a certain point, don't you have to consider some of the all-time greats also?
Because to me, it's not in order right now, but obviously Brady, Montana, 1 and 2. I mean, that's inarguable. No one's gonna argue that.
Are you counting anyone besides before you were born?
I have. I mean, Unitas is definitely in my top 10. Do you have to consider Otto Graham? Maybe. I guess. I mean, we could. I mean, 3 through 10. I mean, it's weird because there was an argument for Drew Brees 1 point in top 10. I don't know if I put him there ultimately. Brett Favre has an argument. I wouldn't put him in there though. But Brett Favre has an argument. The streak, he has a ring and all that. 2 appearances. I had Marino in my top 6 because Marino, while not winning a title, he was probably the most skilled quarterback.
You want to say ever, and then you got Aaron Rodgers. And you're still being wrong when you discount what Steve Young truly was. That was the most talented quarterback.
Oh, Steve Young is number 2 most talented quarterback in my opinion. And in fact, Steve Young was that guy before Aaron Rodgers came on board. Steve Young is my top 10. That's for the record. He's lock solid in my top 10. I have to do a ranking again, just to see where he's placed, but he's in top 10. He's snugged in top 10.
Steve Young would go my top 10 before Aaron Rodgers.
I would argue Steve Young, if he had a longer career Montana has, will surpass Montana.
Look, thanks to him, they won 4 rings because Montana was hurt for so much of that time when he was competing.
Especially the latter half of that too.
So I don't know if you could say Montana would even have 4 rings if not for having Steve Young on that team.
Because Montana goes out, maybe maybe it's the playoffs some of those years.
Exactly.
That's the point. It's a great point. No, I ain't arguing. Steve Young is in my top 10. That's not an argument. Maybe one day we'll do a ranking on that. Maybe one day we'll do a podcast and we'll rank them. Overdue for that one. Okay, let's get to this picks. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Anything else takeaways from? I guess real quick, the Titans. Fraudulent.
No, because everybody was counting on Derrick Henry, right?
Yeah.
You were like, no one thought they were the legit number 1 seed the entire time they got it.
Right.
But everyone's like, oh, well, Derrick Henry will come back in January. He'll be back for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And what was I telling you? It's his first game back.
Right. Look a little timid out there to start the game anyway. Look a little timid. But with that kind of injury, it's a surprise. Okay, one more thing also. Tom Brady. I'm going to record a podcast later on this week, discussing Tom Brady and his future. Kind of a cryptic message on this podcast, he said, basically about his family, and he has to consider all things. Look, I tweeted last night on Twitter that I do think he will come back for at least another year, but I do think for the first time in his career, he's really, really putting under consideration retirement, and it has nothing to do with him necessarily not wanting to play anymore.
I would say kids
and Giselle, his wife. What do you stand? You think he'll come back one more year? You think they'll ultimately make an agreement to one more year and that's it?
Yeah. Well, it might come down to convincing Gronk too, because I think he needs Gronk there to keep him energized.
That's a good point.
Like Brady, he's the competitor and he's gonna want to win, but you need that bit of energy that'll feed your hunger, and I think that's what Gronk is for him. So.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I do in the long run think he comes back one more season, but man, he did everything he had to win that game.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because like when Payton came to the end of the ropes, we knew he was done. Big Ben hasn't officially made it official, but we know he's done. Eli,
Drew Brees, same thing.
Drew Brees. Tom Brady just had 43 fucking touchdowns and 5,000 passing yards, and if this team was healthy, they're probably playing this week.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, if you could just make the stop. They're playing this week.
Tom Brady is the real life boogeyman. I'm just saying that. If you hate Tom Brady, that's too damn bad. Deal with it. Anyway. Championship begins here. Let's hit the first game. It's 3 o'clock. It's going to be, I believe, on CBS. Yep, CBS. It is the surprising Cincinnati Bengals heading to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. The current line is Chiefs by 7.5 points. The over-under is 54.5. I'm a little shocked that it's this low. A little. I know Cincinnati won the first. No.
Low.
Listen. Cincinnati did win the game a couple weeks ago. Week 14 or 15, what it was. 16, whatever it was. It was in Cincinnati, of course.
Yeah.
But I thought, maybe 9, 8.5, 9. I mean, it is an Arrowhead. The Chiefs do put up points. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised it opened as low as it did.
Dude, I'm gonna tell Chris what you're saying right now, because
it's on the podcast.
Are you serious? This line should have been 6 at most, and I don't even think it really should have been 6. All right, you're taking a team that just beat Kansas City a month ago,
yeah,
and now they're more than a touchdown underdog.
I'm a little shocked it was this low, though.
And how many points did Kansas City's defense just give up?
36.
Okay. Yeah. This is total disrespect to Joe Burrow. Total disrespect. I will take Cincinnati. I'll take Cincinnati in the over because I think this is an amazing weekend to bet. But
I agree.
It's Cincinnati for me.
I'm definitely taking the over in this game. Let's put it that way. I did go 3-1 my picks this weekend. The only one I missed on was the Packers game. I got the over on the Bills Chiefs. I got the under on Bengals Titans. I got the Rams outright. How'd you do this week? Did you go 3-1 also?
Yeah, because I picked the Bengals.
You did, yeah. You got balls. Wait, you picked Green Bay too, didn't you?
Let's talk about how I picked Cincinnati.
Okay, shut up.
Right? Cincinnati is still in the playoffs.
That's true. I'm gonna, the player to me, when I say I'm surprised with the spread, I'm gonna say I agree with the spread or disagree with it. I'm gonna say I'm surprised it wasn't higher. I thought maybe these Vegas would jerk off of the Chiefs this week, but the play here is the over. That's the play.
Oh yeah.
And Bengals defense is also a little bit banged up too as well. On top of that, so they'll get some. And if Mathal doesn't play this week, Tyrann Mathieu doesn't play this weekend too, especially because of protocol. That's a shootout because he saw when he got hurt on Sunday.
Man, it happened so early. Don't even use that.
Yeah, that game was a scoring game until the third quarter, and then Gabriel Davis goes insane. So, give me over in this game. Over's a play here. Over's a play. So
Cincinnati is the play.
Do you think they win outright?
I'm taking Cincinnati
To win outright?
I'm taking them plus the points. Yes, I will not be shocked one bit if they win. I sent you text on Saturday or Sunday saying it's going to be Burrow versus Stafford. Ooh. And that was before Stafford had won the game.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next game here. 6:30, Fox.
Actually, that was before Rodgers had lost even.
Yeah. It's the Niners heading to L.A. to face the Rams, or is it the Rams going to San Fran, playing in San Fran? Because technically it's in L.A., but there's going to be San Fran fans everywhere. The Rams are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 46.5. These teams have met twice already this year. Of course, division rivals. San Fran won both meetings. Of course, San Fran also beat the Rams to get into the playoffs. Another narrative here. Also, was it 7 straight wins against the Rams? Or 6 straight wins?
That one I don't know.
It's at least a couple of years. It's been a while since the Rams won in San Francisco. Oh. Now would be a good time though, right, Zach? Now would be a good time to be.
Absolutely, because I mean, let's face it, San Fran's going to rely on the run game and special teams.
And no choice.
What are they going to do? Jimmy Garoppolo, can you go out there and throw 10 to 15 times? That's it. Well, 10 to 15 times is all they need him to throw. And that should be an indictment on their draft pick. All right, we're this far along. You're starting a quarterback. You will only allow to throw 10 to 15 times in a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, you're not even going to put in the backup, who is supposed to be dynamic and athletic.
Wow. Is there anything to take away from what happened with the Rams nearly collapsing? Is that just more about Tampa figuring it out late? Should there be any carryover to that? I mean, I know the Rams came back and stuff like that.
I think there's a lot of carryover on that. I think there's the residual effect of San Fran in the last few matchups, especially the last one this season, and then you're seeing the Rams almost collapse completely in the fourth quarter. So, yeah. I would have initially thought this would be a spread that should be higher, 4.5, 5 even, not 3.5.
I'm taking the Rams here regardless, though. I think San Francisco got lucky.
What do you think about the under? I'm shocked you didn't talk about it.
Oh, the under, it's definitely in play. It's perfect number too, especially because I think the first meeting was like 28-24 or somewhere in the ballpark. So numbers actually, and then the second game was actually a lot lower scoring. I think it was like 20-17, some shit. The under is definitely something I would bet. I do feel good about the Rams though winning overall. I think the pass rush is trying to figure it out. I think Trent Williams' injury is going to be a big situation. No one's talking about that right now, but Trent Williams, if he does not play this game, that's a major development there because. Hello, Von Miller. Hello, Aaron Donald. Nice to meet you. And
we watched last year. Pass protection was the reason why Kansas City lost the Super Bowl.
There you go. So I just think right now they're so close now to this at this point. Stafford, having those big plays against Tampa in that moment when Brady was coming down. And by the way, kudos to Sean McVay for having the balls to not go to overtime and to say, you know what, fuck it, I don't want to see Brady in the field again. Let's win this fucking game.
Yeah. No, kudos for McVay for this entire season.
Yeah.
He loves to gamble on himself and his team.
Yeah.
He just puts the chips in and says, screw it, let's go for it.
Most coaches in the league would have said, let's go to OT and pray that Brady was a pick. Yeah, no. If Tampa gets the ball back first, they're winning that fucking game.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, the Rams' hearts are on the floor at that point.
Yeah.
They know they've already walked into the locker room deciding they've lost.
Right. So cool. So to me, McVay's the MVP of that game. Well, Cup, of course, with him too, but McVay fucking balls to call that play. I'm thinking the Rams will cover. I think the Rams are going to win and win pretty comfortably in this game. Honestly, the streak.
I honestly think the lock is the under.
Okay. But you think the Rams win?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hope the Rams win because they were a preseason prediction of mine when we did our games.
That's true. We are literally a Niners-Bengals victories this week from having a Super Bowl 23 rematch.
Yeah. And the only people who will watch will be in those cities, but.
Well, San Francisco has a big base. And Joe Burrow is big time now, so.
Yeah.
So I like the Rams to cover. I think the Rams are going to feel themselves now after this week, and McVay's going to be a little more aggressive on offense against that Niners defense. Because I don't want to have it in the Packers. If the Packers score one more fucking touchdown, this game is done. We've seen Packers Rams, not Packers fucking Niners. Niners Rams.
Yeah, well, that's Aaron Rodgers. Bunch of hype.
You blame him, huh?
How many touchdowns did he put on the board?
No, I'm with you. He didn't lose you the game, but he sure as fuck didn't win it for you. And he deserves the criticism he's getting here. Yes, I agree.
You do not get to be considered an all-time great if you can't score a touchdown to help your team beat up a garbage San Fran team. A team that okay, look.
Well, they're garbage, but I mean,
they're not garbage. But good Lord, that is not a team you go to battle thinking, "Yep, this is the playoffs." They were your first choice to win the West.
No,
but one of your top choices to come out of the NFC.
I also have them in the playoffs too. You didn't have them in the playoffs. You said they would be playoffs this year. I said they'd be in the playoffs this year. I had all teams of us going to the playoffs.
Yeah, you cheated on that.
I was cheated with Kyle. Yeah, I was three quarters of the way right on that. Seattle fucked me up. By the way, we eating?
Spinach and egg sandwich.
Ew, spinach?
Mm-hmm.
But let's see a bathroom. Cleans you out, though.
It's cooked in butter, man.
Yeah, it's still spinach, though. Cleans you out, buddy. Detox.
Oh, I love spinach. Spinach and broccoli.
Yeah. All right, so go with your picks this week. And I guess we'll see you either next week or week after that for Super Bowl week or Super Bowl pre-week. I don't know what the fuck we're recording next week. I don't know exactly. Anything else we left on the table here before we go? I mean, and it'll be a longer segment we thought. Given this is the one 2 game, figure ways to talk about stuff. Yeah, I think it's good.
No, I mean, how much do you think they'll tear down Green Bay? And will there be a tear down in Dallas?
Dallas, no. The only thing I see happening in Dallas, well, two things I see possibilities. I think Zeke is gone.
Okay, so Zeke's gone. They're not going to re-sign Gallup.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, they'll
probably have to trade Coop or Amari Cooper, right?
Which I would at this point. I think CeeDee Lamb's better than he is.
So all that's left is CeeDee Lamb. So you're rebuilding their entire offense that quick.
Right, but I won't call that a tear down necessarily. A tear down to me is literally getting rid of Zeke, firing the coach, which I think still in play. I think it's not going to happen, but still in play. I mean, you have to consider it.
Dude, that was his biggest problem in Green Bay was time control.
Yeah.
Time management.
You can argue that's why it cost him the fucking season.
So
yeah. But Green Bay, real quick, prediction. Aaron Rodgers, stay, goes, retires one. What's he doing?
Oh, I think he goes.
He goes Denver?
That I don't know where he's going to go. He might end up in D.C., okay?
Will you be okay with that?
Yeah. Be okay with anything over Tyler
And that's how we close the podcast. Zach, thank you so much.
Yeah. Good luck with Daniel Jones.
Shut up. Later, buddy.
Later.